You've been waiting, quietly hoping that someone, maybe a friend, a partner, a boss, or even fate itself, will finally step in and pull you out of the struggle. The job that drains you, the relationship that leaves you empty, the dreams you've put on hold. Deep down, there's that frustration, that quiet fear. Why hasn't anyone come to fix this for me yet? It's exhausting, isn't it? Carrying that weight while scanning the horizon for rescue that never arrives. But here's the truth, spoken calmly and directly. Nobody is coming to save you. This isn't a message of despair. It's a wake-up call from the ancient Stoics, a reality check that sets you free. If this resonates with you, hit that like button right now, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss these timeless reminders. Let's dive in. Number 1. Accepting the reality of self-responsibility. There's a point in every person's life when they secretly wish someone would show up and fix everything. A mentor, a partner, a miracle. But life doesn't bend that way. The Stoics remind us again and again. The more you rely on others for salvation, the weaker you become. Accepting that no rescue team is coming is not a punishment. It's the first step to liberation. Because once you stop waiting, you finally start moving. People often confuse responsibility with blame. Responsibility doesn't mean everything that happened is your fault. It means your future is your duty. It means that even if the past broke you, the next chapter is still yours to write. When Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind," he wasn't trying to sound poetic. He was stating a law of life. If you don't grab the steering wheel of your mind, someone else or something else will. This mindset can feel heavy at first, because if nobody is coming, then every excuse dies, every fantasy collapses, every illusion evaporates. But that's exactly why Stoicism feels like cold water being splashed on your face. It wakes you up. It forces you to see how much of your life is shaped by habits, reactions, and environments you created. The moment you accept this, change is no longer a dream. It becomes a project. Many people walk around thinking life owes them something. They wait for the world to feel sorry for them. They wait for rewards for suffering. But the world is neutral. Reality doesn't bend to pity. The Stoic approach removes you from this dependence and tells you, focus on what you can control right now. Not who hurt you, not who abandoned you, not who should have helped but didn't. What matters is what you do next. Accepting responsibility is the first form of self-respect. It's the moment you decide, I will not hand the keys of my life to anyone else. When you understand this, you no longer beg. You no longer chase saviors. You stop waiting and start building. And slowly, you regain something you may have forgotten you had all along, your own strength. Number 2, how waiting for rescue destroys your potential. When you wait for someone to save you, you put your life on pause. You freeze your potential. You stop thinking creatively because your brain assumes the solution will come from outside. This is how people lose years, waiting for motivation, waiting for inspiration, waiting for circumstances to finally make sense. But waiting breeds weakness. Action breeds clarity. Every time you expect someone else to fix your problems, you silently give them power over your happiness. Imagine handing your future to a stranger and hoping they care enough to prioritize your life. That's what we do when we wait for someone to solve our internal battles. Stoicism cuts through this illusion and says, stand up. You're capable, you're responsible, and you can learn everything you need to learn. Often, the biggest reason we wait for help is fear. Fear of failure, fear of making the wrong move, fear of judgment. But fear becomes stronger when you give it room to grow. It becomes smaller when you start with even the smallest step. The Stoics remind us, courage isn't loud. Courage is quiet, steady, and deeply personal, choosing progress over paralysis. Another danger of waiting is resentment. When you expect someone to save you and they don't, you become angry, bitter, or disappointed. You poison your own heart. But the truth is, they were never responsible for your rescue. Not your family, not your friends, not society. Every person is fighting their own battles. Hoping they'll carry yours too only sets you up for frustration. When you stop waiting, something incredible happens. Your brain switches into problem-solving mode. You begin to see solutions you couldn't see before. You begin to think creatively, act boldly, and trust your inner strength. This shift is what creates leaders, creators, and warriors. People who shape their lives instead of waiting for life to shape them. Number 3. Cultivating the inner strength you've been ignoring. Most people underestimate their own strength because they rarely test it. You don't know how powerful you are until life forces you to act. The Stoics believed every person carries a reservoir of resilience, clarity, and wisdom, but it stays hidden until you stop depending on others. When you realize nobody is coming to save you, you unlock that inner force. Strength isn't just physical or emotional. It's the ability to remain centered when everything around you is unstable. It's the ability to choose the harder path because you know the easy path leads nowhere. Strength is built in silence, discipline, routine, and repetition. It's not glamorous, but it's life-changing. Every challenge you face trains your mind. Pain becomes a teacher. Discomfort becomes a forge. Instead of asking, "Why me?" the Stoic mindset asks, "What is this sharpening in me?" That shift alone turns suffering into strategy. You stop feeling like a victim and start feeling like an apprentice of life. One of the strongest tools you can develop is emotional control. Not suppressing your emotions, controlling your reaction to them. When you no longer let anger, fear, disappointment, or stress dictate your choices, you become unshakable. This is the inner freedom the Stoics live by. You stop searching outside for calm because you built it inside. You are capable of more than you've ever asked of yourself. Most of your strength is still unused because it has never been activated. The moment you choose responsibility over dependence, that hidden strength rises to the surface. And when it does, life stops feeling overwhelming. It starts feeling possible. Number 4, taking action even when you're not ready. The hardest part of changing your life isn't the work, it's starting. Most people wait for the right moment, but the right moment never arrives. You're never going to feel fully prepared. The people who create great lives are not the ones who feel ready. They're the ones who move anyway. Stoicism teaches that action is the cure for hesitation. When you take action, even imperfect action, you break the mental fog. You discover what works, what doesn't, and what needs adjustment. But if you never start, you remain trapped in imagination. You build a life in your head, but never in reality. Action turns dreams into data. If you want to change your life, focus on one small habit at a time. Something simple, something doable. Consistency matters more than intensity. Start walking every morning. Start reading 1 page a day. Start cutting out one bad habit per week. These small choices compound quietly until they transform everything around you. Most people think motivation comes before action, but in truth, action creates motivation. When you see progress, even small progress, your brain begins to trust you. Your confidence grows. Your discipline grows. Your standards rise. One step forward unlocks 10 more. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need permission. You don't need to fix everything today. You only need momentum. Because momentum, once created, becomes self-sustaining. And when you start moving, life starts responding. Doors open. Opportunities appear. Things that once felt impossible suddenly feel within reach. Number 5, building a life where you are your own rescue. The strongest version of you is the one who no longer feels the need to be saved, because you learn to save yourself. This is what Stoicism aims to develop. A person who is calm under pressure. A person who can rebuild even after losing everything. A person who chooses discipline over excuses and direction over confusion. When you take full ownership of your life, you stop seeking validation. You stop begging for attention. You stop waiting for people to choose you. Instead, you choose yourself. You become the provider of your own stability. And ironically, That's when the world starts respecting you more, because people sense strength. Saving yourself doesn't mean living without help. It means you don't depend on help. You appreciate support when it comes, but you don't collapse without it. This balance makes you unshakable. You can walk alone, and you can walk with others. But either way, you stay grounded. Build habits that protect your mind. Wake up early, move your body, read deeply, journal your thoughts, stay disciplined, speak less, observe more, and choose people who want to grow. These daily practices are your shield. They ensure you never drift too far from who you want to become. In the end, the truth is simple. Nobody is coming to save you, and that's the best news of your life. Because everything you're looking for is already within you. Strength, purpose, clarity, and now you're finally ready to use them. From this moment on, you're not waiting. You're building. You're choosing. You're rising. Number 6, the freedom found in letting go of dependence. There's a unique kind of freedom that comes when you stop expecting people to show up for you. Not because you become cold, but because you stop suffering from disappointment. You stop building fantasies about who should rescue you and start dealing with the reality of who actually is. This freedom isn't about isolation. It's about strength. It's about releasing the emotional chains that keep you waiting instead of acting. When you let go of dependence, your interactions become healthier. You no longer cling to people out of fear. Instead, you choose people because you value them, not because you need them to fix your life. The Stoics believe that relationships should be rooted in virtue, not attachment. When you stop relying on others for emotional rescue, you approach the world with more calmness, more clarity, and more confidence. Letting go also removes the illusion that someone else knows your path better than you do. Only you have a front row seat to your thoughts, pains, and dreams. Waiting for someone to guide you keeps you from listening to your own intuition. Stoicism teaches that wisdom grows internally, not from a savior, but from inner reflection and daily discipline. Dependency creates stress. You worry about people leaving because you fear you'll fall apart without them. But when you build your own inner foundation, people leaving no longer destroys you. It may hurt, but it won't break you, because your stability doesn't sit in someone else's hands. It sits in yours. That's how the Stoics lived, calmly, with the understanding that everything external is temporary. The moment you stop depending on others for direction, strength, or validation, you unlock a deeper sense of peace. You realize you were never missing a guide. You were missing courage. And once you develop it, you move through life lighter, stronger, and more grounded. Freedom begins the moment dependence ends. Number 7, the Stoic practice of radical honesty with yourself. Most people don't change because they avoid the truth about their habits, their decisions, and their weaknesses. But you cannot save yourself if you lie to yourself. Stoicism demands radical honesty, the kind that stings at first but heals you later. You must be willing to say, "This is where I'm failing. This is what I must change." No excuses, no stories, just truth. Radical honesty isn't self-hate. It's self-respect. When you stop sugarcoating your problems, you begin to see your life clearly. Maybe you've been blaming circumstances when the real issue is discipline. Maybe you've been blaming people when the real issue is boundaries. This level of honesty is uncomfortable, but it's the only way to build a strong foundation. When you confront your truth, shame loses its grip on you. You no longer hide from your flaws, you study them. You no longer avoid your weaknesses, you strengthen them. This mindset removes the emotional weight you've been carrying. Instead of thinking, "I hope nobody notices," you think, "I'm already fixing it." This honesty also makes your decisions sharper. You stop pretending you're okay with things that drain your energy. You stop staying in environments that pull you backward. You stop pretending you'll change one day. Radical honesty turns one day into today because it shows you exactly what must be done. When you are brutally honest with yourself, you develop clarity. And clarity is power. It allows you to take real responsibility, make real changes, and build real momentum. Honesty is the beginning of transformation, and transformation is the beginning of freedom. Number 8, training your mind to withstand hard times. Hard times don't build character. They reveal the character you've been training. Stoicism teaches that your mind must be prepared before hardship arrives. Because when life hits, it hits fast. If you rely on someone coming to help, you panic. But if you've trained your mind, you stay grounded. You're not shaken by pressure. You adapt and respond. Training your mind means exposing yourself to discomfort intentionally. Wake up early even when you want to sleep in. Avoid distractions even when they're tempting. Stick to routine even when motivation fades. These are the daily drills that build mental toughness. They're small, but they stack. And over time, they create a mind that doesn't collapse under stress. When hardship comes, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your training. This is why Stoics practiced negative visualization, imagining loss, imagining difficulty, imagining obstacles. Not to be sad, but to be prepared. Because when you've mentally rehearsed adversity, it no longer surprises you. You respond with strength instead of fear. A trained mind also knows the difference between what is within your control and what is not. Most suffering comes from trying to change things you simply cannot change. But when you focus only on your actions, your thoughts, and your behavior, you reduce unnecessary pain. You anchor yourself in your own power. Hard times will visit everyone. No one escapes them. But the person who has trained their mind becomes unbreakable. They move through storms with calmness, make decisions with clarity, and rise stronger than before. This is the essence of Stoic resilience, not waiting for rescue, but building yourself into someone who doesn't need it. Number 9, the Stoic art of building unstoppable discipline. Discipline is the closest thing humans have to superpower. It turns average people into exceptional ones. But discipline can only grow when you stop waiting for someone to push you. Nobody is coming to force you to be consistent. Nobody is coming to pull you out of bed. Discipline is built the moment you decide to act, even when it's uncomfortable. The Stoics believed that discipline is the purest expression of self-respect. When you control your impulses, you prove to yourself that your future matters. You're not a slave to mood. You're not guided by emotion. You choose the action that aligns with the person you want to become. This separation of feelings and decisions is the foundation of greatness. Discipline grows when you create structure, build routines, set standards, create rules for yourself that protect your goals. Because without structure, the mind becomes chaotic, and a chaotic mind destroys potential. But when you create order in your daily life, you create order in your future. One powerful Stoic principle is this: do the hard thing first. Not because you enjoy suffering, but because you want to strengthen your will. When you consistently choose challenge over comfort, you become a different kind of human. Calmer, sharper, tougher. You no longer fear difficulty because you've been practicing it. Discipline doesn't give you instant results, but it gives you something better: control. It gives you direction. It gives you identity. And when nobody comes to save you, discipline becomes the force that carries you out of the dark. It becomes your inner warrior, reliable, steady, and unstoppable. Number 10. Creating a future where you are your own leader. A Stoic life is built on leadership, not over others, but over yourself. When you stop waiting for someone to guide you, you begin guiding yourself. You stop needing permission to grow. You stop needing validation to start. This mindset transforms your life from reactive to intentional. You stop drifting and start directing. To lead yourself, you must have a vision, not a vague fantasy, but a clear picture of the person you want to become. Write it down. Think about it daily. Every decision should either bring you closer to that vision or pull you further away. When you know your direction, your choices become sharper and your life becomes simpler. Leadership also requires accountability. You cannot become who you want to be if you keep allowing old habits to sabotage your progress. You must hold yourself to a higher standard, not out of pressure, but out of respect for your potential. The Stoics didn't aim for perfection. They aimed for improvement. Every day, every choice. A self-led life is powerful because it's stable. You're not blown around by emotions, by opinions, or by external events. You walk with intention. You speak less, observe more, and focus on action instead of noise. People can sense this clarity. They feel your presence. They trust your decisions, not because you're perfect, but because you're centered. When you become the leader of your own life, you no longer fear the truth that nobody is coming to save you. You embrace it. You see it as a gift, because now your life is in your hands, and that's exactly where it belongs. You are no longer waiting for change. You are creating it, and that is the essence of Stoic power. In the end, the greatest shift you will ever make is accepting that your life won't change through hope, waiting, or wishing. It will change through action, responsibility, and inner strength. When you stop expecting someone to rescue you, you free yourself from disappointment and step into a mindset where every choice, every habit, and every decision becomes a tool for transformation. This is how confidence is built. This is how direction is found. You stop depending on the world, and you start depending on yourself. And once that switch happens, something powerful awakens inside you. You begin moving with purpose. You start building instead of waiting. You start becoming someone you can rely on. That's the essence of Stoicism, the steady, quiet, unshakable belief that you can face life as it is and rise anyway. Nobody is coming to save you, but you don't need them to, because you are capable of becoming the person who saves yourself every single day.